Hey, welcome back, Veteran Nation fans. We are live with another episode of Veteran Nation Live, and we do have a guest today. But first, before we talk to our guest, I would like to welcome my great co-host, TC. TC, how are you today?
Why do you change it every time?
I like to keep you on your toes.
I I don't know what this great thing is, but I'm 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 doing okay. Um, looking forward to hearing what our guest has. We're gonna just talk about him like he's not here because
Oh, we
that's
can
more
bring him in.
fun.
I just wanted to
No,
greet you first.
I'm just gonna talk about him like he's actually not here, which is kind of how we do the show when you're around anyway, Skipper. So
Well,
I see you have your life partner in the background there.
oh yeah, this is the new addition to the show. This is my new co-host, Lacey, aka Lynette. Uh, Special thank you to John Naylor, who was in the comments today. John sent her to us. She was a goodwill find. So thank you again, John, adding to the show with more props.
You're not married to it like the guy on Instagram, right? It has little dolls and stuff. Have you seen that guy?
I
It's
I
married to
have,
one of those things right there, and he has like little children and all that. He's like, and he put like a pillow in her belly and said she's pregnant. She's gonna have a child in a couple days. I was like, what?
I love it. I love all that crazy stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, our guest, as you can see, is William Stevens. He's an Army veteran. He has the Voice of the Voiceless podcast, and he's also a published author. Welcome, William.
Hey, hi. Thank you everyone for having me here, and thank you gentlemen for having me here.
Oh, absolutely.
Live from Florida outside. My first time doing this outside.
Are you safe? I mean, there's not a lot of Florida men or people running around down there, are there? I mean, I know you're in Florida, but Florida man is a thing.
I never heard of that before, but like I'm not from Florida. I'm from Pennsylvania, like where the Hershey Candy Bar is. My kid, she's here in Orlando, so sorry about the dog. But yeah, I think where I'm at, I
You
want to
said you
call it RV
are you
RV Harlem.
are you are you in Orlando? You said.
I'm in Davenport, outside Orlando. My
Oh,
my kid cheers for Top Gun in Orlando. That's all I'm going to say about my kid. But
I,
that's why I'm here.
Understood.
but just
I was supposed to be in the Keys. I'm supposed to be in the Keys chilling, but her mom lost her job because of like I guess the VA outside referrals. They shut all that down. So her mom was helping people with mental health and not happening. So I'm here to make sure that my kid graduates in June and then I'm out. Not coming back to Florida no more. It's too hot here, man.
I feel that. Yeah, I don't know.
It, it's warm there today, isn't it?
Oh, 80 degrees, man.
That's
36 last night. 86 now. Heated pool, 80 degrees. So I might go to the pool later, but like I said, I'm in RV Harlem, man. I'm not
I
even saying anything about that.
I do I know I like we you know we get the same heat that everybody else gets, but we have the same humidity that a lot of states don't have. So like Florida has humidity, and we have like twice their humidity where I'm at,
Where are you
and
at?
southeast Minnesota, believe it or not. So yeah,
Okay.
I get 100-degree days with like 250% humidity. You have to put on scuba gear to go out to get your mail.
Oh,
So,
that's the way it was in Korea, man.
but I have no desire to go live somewhere where that humidity spawns well, not spawns, but like is normally followed by hurricanes. So it's bad enough
That's the way
having
it
to
is in
co-host a show with a Marine.
that's the way it is in Korea, man. You come outside, you in uniform, you had to go change. You had to have you have to have two uniforms during the day, especially monsoon season. But yeah, I don't like it very hot because like it's got up to 90 here in the winter. I'm gonna be hurting when I go to the Keys over my birthday, man. It's gonna
No,
be like 100 and some degrees.
that's not winter. That's that's not winter. No. I just want
Nope.
to for the chat, Native Pride. You gotta let Georgie be. she's off the mat right now. So she
TC lives in Minnesota. I'm in the desert of California, so we both live most of the year in an emergency condition.
Desert. Mojave Desert?
I'm right next to Joshua Tree National Park.
How far are you from NTC, National Training Center?
Probably
Fort Irwin.
probably about an hour and 15.
Wow. You ever been to Fort Irwin?
I've been there. I wasn't stationed there. I was stationed at 29 Palms, which is where I live. And
So do
just
the
kinda
Marines
stayed.
do
Yep.
the Marines do training in the National Training Center?
Every once in a while, yeah.
Oh wow, I got 11 of those, man. Started out living in a pup tent and ended up living in a trailer.
Well, you're actually shocking me because you were artillery, and it sounds like all you're hearing is there.
That's because I got headphones on, man. You told me to get headphones, so I went and got headphones. So it's funny because like I'm not around loud noises no more, and I believe my hearing is getting a little bit better because like
don't admit that.
no, I'm not going to admit that. But one thing I can tell you that one thing that drives me and one thing that drives me crazy is when I'm laying in my RV and I'm right across the street from the Amazon warehouse here in Davenport. And if you don't focus on it, you can't hear it. But like once you hear it, the little beep beep on the vehicles that pull the trailers around, like when the trucks disconnect them, yeah, you hear this beep 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 all night long, man. And I'm like, okay, time to put in my non-Bluetooth earbuds because that's the way I sleep, non-Bluetooth earbuds. So, but
well, first of all, I need to correct something else, Georgie. This is not a professional stream. I don't know where you got that idea. And hello to Joan Walton. She's from Blaine, Minnesota. I lived in Blaine when I was a wee lad, and that was a very long time ago. So yeah, thanks. He has, William, he has a soundboard, and we're working on putting together a quick reaction force to go in and take his soundboard from him in a Black Ops type situation. So
is that what those little noises are in the background?
Yeah. So if you'd like to be part of that, or help fund that operation, we'd be more than happy to take donations to that.
Oh, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem to giving donations. Not like I'm not going to say some certain podcast. The big ones where they ask you for like $25,000 to be a guest. Just donate $25,000 and we'll have you on the show, man. Joe Rogan. Sorry, I had to get that
In the
out
meantime, TC and I have been paying to stream our stuff for a couple years now.
Well, you pay for us to stream.
I do.
Yeah. Well, the foundation's paying for us to stream.
Yes. That was paid at the beginning of the year. Payments made. So next year, another payment.
I like money.
Karen wants to know if I have a channel. I do. It's been very chicken oriented for the last month, but we're getting ready to put out content. So William, tell us, you do a podcast, Voice of the Voiceless. Tell us a little bit about what you do and where it found its roots and what made you decide that you were going to be the voice of the voiceless. And where can
there
people
are a
find
lot.
you?
I've noticed there are a lot of Voice of the Voicelesses out there, but I don't know who's got the trademark to it. But I use the Voice of the Voiceless because one, there are a lot of veterans that are sitting on the couch. One, they don't like to voice their opinion because some of them have high clearances or work for the government. And once they voice their opinion, they become a target. And I was a target when I was working for the civilian government, but now I voice my opinion about everything. So I believe being the voice of the voiceless, I want to like reach out and network with people and tell people on social media that what people aren't hearing. Because like I don't really watch the news. A lot of my friends work for the upper government, I would say, and I get my news from them. Or I just watch The Simpsons because they definitely tell you what's going on in the future. So, but Voice of the Voiceless podcast is new. Haven't really like interviewed anyone yet. I'm still learning the whole podcasting thing. I got inspired by I forget his name. Oscar Mike Radio. Do you know Travis from Oscar Mike? He's a Marine Corps veteran.
I think
He
I know who
inspired
he
me to
is.
do. Yeah, he inspired me, and so did Mark Peterson from People's Patriot Project. So I am doing like my own podcast where I'm talking to myself, but I'm reaching out to a few people that have books about mental health. So 1821 Productions is a platform for my two books, The Mirror and The Broken Mirror, and it's a mental health platform for people that have like traumatic issues. So I post like little things about mental health, the types of PTSD, things that are going on in my book and stuff to help people out. So, and then I've just recently created a thing on the 1821 production platform called Crawl, Walk, Run. So it's kind of like a leadership thing because I was telling Skipper, if you go online and Google leadership, there are like 888 definitions of leadership. And I believe that that whole thing should be like changed where you can just say like a few words. Like I'm a person of many words because I have PTSD, but Crawl, Walk, Run or Coach, Teach, Mentor, you have to start out as a follower and then be a leader. So, and those books right there that you're seeing are on books.buy. So there's no link there. That's a new platform. It's like anybody that's a struggling author. You can go on books.by and set up an account for $99 a year, and they'll put your books on there, and you get 100% royalties. I have not sold a book on there yet, but I just put my stuff on there. But
Okay.
I'm looking to reach out to a couple people that are Purple Heart recipients. The guy that did the preface to the Broken Mirror, he's a Purple Heart recipient, and I want to interview him. He has a veteran podcast, but he's been so busy working the upper government stuff that he hasn't had time. And I'm trying to inspire him because like people are reaching out like, where's John? Where's John? Where's John in his veteran podcast? And I'm like, I don't know, man. But it's all about the message, man. It's not about the royalties. Like I'm making my own videos and stuff. Like I'm just trying to find the perfect marketing team. So right now my marketing is going out on veteran podcasts, and I'm also going to be on some mental health podcasts that I went on Facebook and found different podcasters that do mental health talking and stuff like that. So plus I think I owe it to my daughter because like when I got out of Walter Reed, so I stayed at Walter Reed for a year at the Wounded Warrior Transition Unit in an outpatient, inpatient psych unit. They called it training. I called it the clown show. But when I came home, I treated my wife and my newborn baby, my daughter, like absolute garbage. I was so drugged up on lithium, man. So I believe that the new book that I wrote, I talk about adaptation and coping mechanisms and stuff like that, because like I believe this story needs to be told because there's a lot of people eventually, you know, that come back from the military and have no clue. Like I even have resume writing in there on how to go from like military to civilian lingo. Because, you know, these people these days that are hiring you, man, they don't care if you were in the military. They really don't. Unless you have like a Bronze Star, Purple Heart, or the Medal of Honor, you know, they don't care. I mean, really. But yeah, it's about the message, man. It's all about the message.
We've
So-
seen.
And I do everything myself out of my retirement. Like I don't get nobody giving me money or anything. Like, you know, I haven't done that. I was explaining to him that, you know, I haven't done any of that yet, but eventually, hopefully I will. So, God, I hope my phone don't die while I'm talking to you.
So explain the meaning of 1821 Productions. What made you pick that?
So when I was a young sergeant in Colorado Springs, Fort Carson, Colorado, I was a DJ, and me and my buddy had to come up with a quick name for a show, and we came up with 1821 Productions, and it sold out the house, man. So I took like this picture. It's in my new book. I can send it to you offline, but it's me sitting on a dock with a hat on and a spray painted it like I did the graffiti thing, like with, I threw it on there. 1821 Productions, and then we made a flyer out of it and threw it on there. So also, it's a cool pin for your card too.
Yeah, I didn't know if maybe there was like something of historical significance that you guys chose for that. So
Nah, it's
now I'm
always funny.
scrambling to look up all the really
It was for
like
18 to 21-year-olds.
Yeah, I don't really like. I look at the people that are following me, man. There's no one like under 30 following me. I don't know why, but
Oh,
Yeah.
those
I
crazy
don't know,
kids.
man. I think eventually everybody has trauma, so eventually everybody's gonna reach out. Eventually, it just I'm doing the crawl, walk, run, man. Just like I said, like I started out with 5 followers. I got like 8 more followers. Please, everybody go on 1821 Productions today. I'm trying to meet my criteria. I missed it 6 weeks in a row. Today, I'm only 8 followers away from making my criteria so that I can get they give you different options once you reach certain criterias to open up on your platform. So, but yeah.
Which platform is that you need the most help?
1821 Productions on Facebook.
Okay.
Yep.
Just
So I'm just asking, I usually not care about followers because once you get 1 million and some followers and shit, you got to hire an admin person, man, to reach out to them because I'm not on a group. My crawl, walk, run is a group, and that has automatic responses. After 10 people, it'll say thank you very much. But when you have a profile, you can't do that. You have to reach out to your people individually, and they're like, why don't you have an automatic response? It doesn't offer that because I'm not at that. I don't have that threshold of 500 to 1,000 followers. So I do everything my normal day for 2 hours is reaching out to people individually and saying thank you. Because a lot of people that have profiles, man, they're just going to be sending hearts and stuff and saying that. But man, I go on and say, look, if you liked my video or something that I made in the morning message, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, man. It helps one person, man. Especially my Spotify stuff that I just started where it said here, congratulations, you just went over 200 streams. Just popped right up on my screen. I have audio pieces from my new book, and my audios will be dropping. The 2 new books, the Mirror and the Broken Mirror, will be dropping on audio in March and April, and that's not a cheap process. I'm paying for that myself, and I tried to record everything, and they didn't accept it because I did all the recordings in my RV and the frequencies and all that. For Audible has to be perfect. So now they're getting someone to read it, and I told them to AI my voice over it. So, but yeah, 1821 Productions is where I need the help. So, because I post everything there for Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, and when people start hitting that up, they'll start seeing it. So, but yeah, I have a morning message that I put out, and I do reviews on stuff like products, like this little thing I got right here. I did a review on that. Pretty cool. I got it from Amazon. Wasn't too expensive, but we'll see how it works today. So.
Did they just walk it over from the warehouse?
No, actually, it was delivered 4 in the morning. But you meet when you go on Amazon. If you're on Amazon Prime, I think if you meet a certain how much you spend for one day, they can overnight it or they can bring it the same day. I don't know, but.
I was just wondering, since you're right next to the warehouse, if maybe they just threw it on a drone, flew it across the street.
No, they don't have drones here, man. I don't understand. I just saw every time I look around, man, it's always a different Amazon person. And I don't know, man. There's a Highway 4. If you know Highway 4 is right across here. And Amazon warehouses across the street. It's so big. I mean, it is so big. It's like a whole couple city blocks. So, but
Well,
yeah, man.
I have been making sure that we are following you on everything
Thank
that
you.
you have listed. I'm putting
I
up
appreciate it.
your stuff here. Let me drop your links also in the chat so people who are watching can go there and follow you immediately.
Yeah, admins, and moderators, you should get on that. Help Skipper out.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a message, man. Like I tell people, in my videos, it's not like I'm trying to go out and try to find veterans and turn over rocks, because that don't happen. But since I've been to different KOAs, different campgrounds, you would not believe how many veterans live in RVs. I mean, like gave up their house, live in RVs, and you interact with them. It's all about like interactions and like inspiring people. Like I even have my own challenge coin I made while I'm out here. It's got the 1821 shield on it. So I bought a couple of these shirts from Amazon, threw the logo on it for when I do podcasting. So I'm not sitting around. I used to wear like grunt style. I still do. I love their apparel. So I'm actually talking to someone who's like an administration person for Grunt Style and see if I could tell my story. I know a lot of people don't know about Grunt Style, but they support mental health and PTSD with their apparel. And they do all kinds of community stuff on the outside that people don't see. And I met this girl who is one of their spokesmen, and she's going to start trying to get me on their platform, But yeah, so.
Well, we just got a super chat.
I like money.
So thank you very much, Linda. $20. Thank you so much. We do appreciate that. Yeah, we're getting your links all in there. One thing I do want to extend to you is that we have our Veteran Nation Facebook group, and I'll make sure I send you a link to it so that whenever you go live or do anything, you can absolutely post it in that group. Feel free. That's we're just veterans and people who support veterans, and we try to support each other in there.
So I had to get so many followers. I know you know this. Like you have to get so many followers to go live on Facebook. So I just went over that threshold and have come on a couple times where like on a Friday night, I don't know the best time to come on, but like I'll be on like a Friday night or Saturday and ain't nobody there. But the little red circle lights up on your Facebook. And I've had a few people come in and where I could do like face to face and talk to them. And they just, bet to me. I'm not a therapist or anything, but I have been doing some courses on UNC for a peer support specialist.
Okay.
So that I understand, how to interact with people because like, man, I was the one that was in the closet for the longest when I was like, my ex-wife did all the bills. She did everything, man. I was just sitting at home like drugged up on lithium like a zombie, So, but yeah.
What do you think is the number one hurdle for, veterans from, several generations now, and we have several generations of veterans from, really we're kind of at the tail end of the World War II generation and part and parcel the Korean War generation, but we're even kind of coming up on the tail end of the Vietnam era vets. We're losing, them, a lot of them just to old age now, but we're still looking at multiple generations of veterans. But do you think that there's a kind of a across the board struggle for all of them? And if there is, what do you think is that the hurdle to them getting the help that they really need?
What's that guy's name? Is his name Collins? The guy Collins that just took over the Veterans Affairs.
I don't.
Is that his name? Collins?
Yeah.
Senator? No, I don't know. He's senator, but he's like a what do they call it? I don't know, a director or something of the Veterans Affairs. I'll just tell you that. Yeah, Secretary of Veterans Affairs. So I think that from what I'm seeing, there's a lot of non-veteran people that work for the VA, and I think they should like revamp the whole veteran VA system, healthcare, especially the mental side, because I've been with my psychiatrist since 2008, and I know many people that get bounced around, and it shouldn't be like that. You know, I think that if you're in a program, you should stay with the same because like every time you go to a different psychiatrist, man, you got to tell your story over again. And
Yep.
my psychiatrist has been with me the whole way. He knows my whole story. Like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have got my disability from the civilian government when I got fired for having PTSD. So
That was
after 16 years. So, but revamp the whole veteran VA system, like gut it, you know, and bring in new people. I mean, there are people that are like subject matter experts, but man, I don't want to be a patient in the VA. And you talk to this guy that's got a 4-year degree that never been on the battlefield or never even put on a uniform, and they wear like a suit and they come in or a doctor's coat and be like, well, I don't recommend that for you. But you know, you're telling your friends are telling you, hey, you need to see if you can get this or see if you can get this disability. And they're like, you don't apply for that. You know, like I have a guy that's been reaching out to me. He's 100% and he's terminal now. And he filed for the PAC Act and they disapproved him because he's already getting 100%. They won't treat him for the PAC Act. And I think that's absolute garbage. They talk about the PAC Act all the time, but like they don't want to help you when you file when you're already 100%. It doesn't matter if you get any more money or whatever. It's the help that you need. Because I mean, like some of these guys, I mean, like when I came off when I came out of Desert Shield, Desert Storm, I wasn't breathing into a thing to see if I had bronchitis or whatever it's called. And then like 20 years later, I'm suffering from it and they drop the PAC Act and they're like, okay, breathe into this tube as many times to get a reading, you know, and it's like the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And then they're like, oh, you're connected to PAC Act, so we're going to pay you $235 at one shot. Thank you for coming in to do the test. And never again, you don't hear anything from them. But like that whole PAC Act needs to be like revamped. The whole mental system in the VA needs to be revamped. I mean, just to go to the VA now, I'm sure you know when you go to the VA, you get an eye appointment or a freaking colonoscopy, you're waiting 6 months to a year.
Well, with the VA, you could go in for an eye appointment and end up with a colonoscopy. That's just how. Oh gosh, we're sorry. We weren't supposed to do that through your eyeball.
Yeah, but you saw that they fired all those VA health workers. And just like I said, my ex-wife was working mental side of the house here in Claremont, where they hired her from Pennsylvania to come down here to Orlando to be a director, her and her team, and certain things, executive orders dropped, and it came out and said that, you know, the VA is not going to do referrals no more, and now the VA is trying to like take all their patients in the VA, so like they'll fire one person and one person will do 3 different VA jobs, and they can't handle it. And eventually I think it's all going to come back because my ex-wife, which I don't get along with much, told me that they were just getting ready to open a farm here in Claremont to like help homeless veterans and people with PTSD, where they would work on the farm and do all the farming. They have little houses and stuff for them to stay there, and they would get treatment while they're there. And she was going to be the director, and they came to her 2 weeks ago and said, you and your staff, you have a job tomorrow. No severance, no nothing. And she's got a master and 2 bachelors in psychology, no severance. So, I mean, I don't know if I agree or disagree with what they're doing, but I think the VA system's getting ready to get very overloaded.
They're not getting rid of the right people. That's the problem. Skipper and I have had a interesting conversation. we might be doing like a 5-round bout on this sometime here in the near future.
So one thing I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just that's my, and I think a lot of us can agree, like the VA is just not doing a good job. And when you just decide you're going to get rid of people, the people that need to be gotten rid of are going to be the ones that'll make the decisions about who to get rid of. And that's been my concern. And and Skipper and I are both big advocates for veterans. Obviously, this is Veteran Nation, and even when we talk politics, it's kind of revolves around what's best for the country and best for veterans. And the VA has been one of our biggest hobby horses because Skipper's in the system and doesn't get treated well. He's had some good experiences, but he's had some bad experiences. And then there are other people who are in the system and have not had anything but bad experiences as they struggle to get anywhere. And one of them is AVA. He's in the chat and he's on the show on a pretty regular basis now. And he's been railroaded numerous times. We've got, the angry vet from out in Maryland who's been, literally charged with federal felonies for trying to record his own appointments. They charge him, with federal felonies, and
we'll be doing a veteran stream with both of those a little bit later on today.
And any other veterans who want to show up.
Yeah.
So one thing I have not mentioned while we're talking. In both of my books, I talk about long-term medication use damaging the body. And I know what I'm talking about, like you can take like fluoxetine, Prozac for a long period of time or different types of medications. You start getting kidney problems. You start getting liver failure. You start getting like brain fog. And then they come back and tell you that, oh, maybe we need to put you on. Because I've been on 3 different medication changes with the same psychiatrist. And I will definitely tell you that one thing, any veterans out there or anybody that's going to the VA, I think when you first meet whoever your psychiatrist is, you need to lay some ground rules. Because I'm going to tell you, when I was at a certain VA clinic in Pennsylvania, I'm not going to say where, but I've already had this talk with my psychiatrist, and I'm like, look, I'm not a you. I'm not you point at me. I'm not, hey, you come here, or, it's come on in here. It's you come out and tap me on the shoulder and say, Bill, please come in here, and we had that working relationship, and that's why our bond is so tight. But I will tell you, TC, how many primary healthcare, or Skipper, how many primary healthcare managers have you had since you've been in the VA?
I've been fortunate.
A dime a dozen.
I've had 2. But
Okay.
the same thing they've done with your therapist, they did with me. For my first 4 years that I was trying to get care, every 6 months it was, oh, we have a new therapist for you. We have a new therapist. And you have to relive all that trauma, and it puts you back in terms of being able to make progress, for your mental health. And I don't think people understand that. And the VA just doesn't care.
It's like some of those people that work at the VA, or I would even say, like, before I left Pennsylvania, I was a courier for a hospital. And I learned that there's a lot of people, like a blood courier. So I didn't have a job. Like, I got fired from the government. So I was sitting at home doing nothing but making, videos and stuff and writing this new book on my phone. Like, I didn't sit down and write my book on a computer, because I got tremors in this left hand. And that's how I proved, after from 2008 all the way to 2022, I fought with the VA to get 100%, and finally in 22, my psychiatrist, not my primary healthcare manager, said, "Look, this guy's got severe tremors," and now I'm like helping myself with like oils and stuff like that, But what I was trying to say is, before I go off on a tangent, I'm sorry.
No, we're tangent friendly.
What was I saying in the beginning?
We were talking
as a courier and.
Oh yeah. So I saw the medical side while I was walking through the hospital. That some of these people, and even in the VA, when I go to VA and drop off like blood specimens and stuff, or wherever I was doing the private courier stuff for, you have these 9-to-5 doctors that don't care. They really don't. They, just like I said in my book I wrote about Walter Reed Army Medical Center, there were a lot of doctors that were there to help veterans, but there are a lot of doctors and nurses there that it's just a 9-to-5 job. Like, they don't speak to you, they do their job, they have no outside contact with you, they have no interaction in the hallway. If you come in, it's like a direct, like they don't care about your family. They don't ask you questions. Uh, and I broke all that down in my book, man. And I'm telling you, like, if you are not reading the second book, The Broken Mirror, you're definitely missing it because it's definitely showing like the true transition. And there are a lot of people reach out to me and say, who is the fictional character? Who are these fictional characters? I am the character. I'm the one who lived that battle. And that's why I want people to understand that there are a lot of people out there worse than all three of us. And there's a lot of people that come to that situation where they end up being a 22. So there are things and coping mechanisms and stuff that I have in my new book, Outside Bugs. I don't want people to be a 22, man, because I almost became a 22 in 2014. I think we've all been there, man. Boy, biggest that's the biggest lizard I've seen since I've been here.
That
How
is
big?
no way to talk about Skipper.
Holy crap. Just scared me, man. Like ran across the table.
We've got 140 people watching. Most of them are on X right now. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Make sure you do go to William's Facebook and his Spotify and his YouTube, and make sure you subscribe because it's a very common story from what I'm hearing. And we do have in the description of the YouTube and the Facebook, we have the description, or in the description, we have links to your books as well, but they can find them on Amazon.
And there's 33 really good positive reviews that I'm shocked. Like I've given a bunch of books out for Christmas I've went and bought author copies and personally signed them on the back and have sent them out like FedEx and stuff. And all I ask is just do a review. And these people have done reviews, and it's not like one or two sentences. They are writing like a whole 2-3 paragraphs. And I'm blown away that one guy who I didn't even have like a conversation with when he was working with the Navy, when I was working with the Navy as a civilian, he said, I felt like I was having an actual conversation with you when I was reading your second book, man. He goes, that's how close it was to me. And he's deployed right now in Djibouti, and he took my book with him, and he's like the sergeant major of the whole command there. That's how big of a guy he is. And he's sharing my story with those soldiers, his Navy soldiers. And I thought that's really great because he's like, this is almost like a mental health thing. And then I wanted to say one other thing, and I'll send you the link. There are these two guys, I don't know if you've seen this, and I'm not trying to push their book, but it took them 5 years to do this book. It's called Warrior to Civilian. Have you seen that book? Warrior to Civilian? I will link you with a couple of people. You want to have those guys on your podcast. It took them 5 years. One guy's a civilian. The other guy is a Navy SEAL. And the guy lost his wife. But I am listening to that audio. It's 9 hours long. I'm already into the 6th hour, and I'm completely blown away that some of the stuff they're talking about. I don't know if you know this or not, like the combat side, or I would even say anyone that's going through any kind of basic training or war scenarios. Did you know you can get TBI from firing weapon systems for more period long time? Like they predicted, like in combat, you're only supposed to fire a certain weapon system to a certain threshold, so many rounds a day. But when you're in combat engagement, you can like fire so many rounds that it can cause tremors, it can cause brain damage, even though you're wearing all the protection, and it doesn't show up when you come back. It's like 5 years later, you snap, and they've done research in this book, and that's why it took them 5 years, that these soldiers are coming back, or even ones in basic training where they say that they're like consecutive objectives and stuff like that. I can see why some of these people don't want to go fight for their country, because once they put a weapon in their hand and they start firing, they kind of get scared, or it does something to them. It like rings a bell or something. And I never knew that in my entire life. And then the other thing is PTSD and mental health is not just freaking combat. It's not. Because when I was at Walter Reed, we had a female Marine that was abducted in her Marine Corps recruiting office. And her husband was in the next room, and she was there in the therapy with us for protective custody. And I was in there with a bunch of infantry guys and the chaplain and her. And she came out at the end and was like, "You guys are a joke. Everybody's sitting here talking about combat and all this." And she didn't say anything for a whole year. And finally, she came out at the end and said, "It's it's not about that. Everybody has some type of trauma, and that's why I write in my books that it doesn't matter if you're not even born into this world yet. If you're born in this world and a doctor drops you on your head, you have trauma, and you don't even know that until later on down the road, or you're driving down the road and you're like, oh, nothing will ever happen to me, and you're involved in an accident, and guess what? Now you have trauma. Everybody has trauma or will eventually have trauma. So, and then the other thing I'd like to say is something about our children. Okay, I have a young daughter who's 17, and I sent you that picture. You can post that picture if you want. You know, the picture where it says the change of war.
Sure.
And me and my daughter. Now that's when came home from Walter Reed, and that's a very emotional picture that's in my book, and it's called Changed by War. Somebody did an article on it, and I kind of like jumped off of it because that guy that did that article did the 80-hour editing for my new book. And all I want to say is for the children, I don't know if it's hereditary or not, because like my kid came to me the day before yesterday, and she's like, Dad, I have an attitude problem. Do you know where I got that from? And I said, what are you getting at? And she goes, well, you remember how you used to treat me when I was a child and you used to yell at mom and all that? She goes, now I'm yelling at mom and I'm yelling at my coach and all this other stuff. And I'm like, the wagon wheel has begun. So it's almost like the way we treat our children, you know, I think you need to like go back and look at yourself and see how you treated your children when you were coming right out of the military. So that's how I talk about some of that stuff in my book as well, because like, and once you say that one bad thing to your child when they're very young, like maybe when she was like 8 years old, when I called her the B for being a bad kid, and her mom a B word, that's instilled in their head for life, man. And they are not going to forget that. And the way you treat them with the attitude or anger, eventually, I believe it was hereditary. I call my daughter the anthrax baby because I had like 13 anthrax shots. She doesn't get sick, thank God. I mean, she doesn't get no vaccinations or anything. And I think she's just protected by anthrax because her mom's like, there's something with her, man. You know, it must be your genes or her genes, but
she's become
crazy,
Florida
man.
woman.
Well, she's changed since she's been here, believe me.
Yeah, see?
It's all-
See? Look, she's
Hey.
Florida woman. That's what that is.
It's called high maintenance. High maintenance.
Well,
You got a high maintenance
everyone-
child at 17 years old.
We have you up to 396 followers on Facebook. We're only 4 away. So can we get 4 of you people to follow him on Facebook so that we can break that 400 threshold?
Oh, wow. Thank you. You're following that. That's cool. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, of course.
It's the moderators in chat that they don't pay any attention to what we talk about. They just run around and look at links all day and then make fun of us on the side.
And then the other thing is those people that are going to like me, not like me, it's follow me. They can like the stories because I'm always posting. I don't have anything else to do. I have no direction while I'm out here unless I'm looking for someone. But I am going to tell you that I got like 10% on my phone left. I don't have my battery. I don't have my backup here, but I will tell you, I don't know how long we got. I can run in and get my charger and connect it. Just
If
run
you
off
need
real
to,
quick, but
you can.
if I
I can
need
plug
to.
some other stuff while you go if you want to do that.
it just came up and said 10% left. So
Sure, just go ahead and go get it, and I'll go through a couple other plugs.
yeah, man, thanks. I'll be right back.
Sure.
I
So,
can still hear you.
I'm going to put this in the chat right now. This is for Timothy Walters. He's a friend of the show. He is a National Guard veteran, and he's not getting any help from the VA. He has stage 3 cancer, and he needs either a wheelchair or a motor scooter. We have him up to $195 raised. I just put the link in the chat right there. I will actually, if you're watching on Twitter, I will put it in the comments of the the link here so that you guys can go and give to Tim. He's definitely in need. We're trying to get people near his area because he lives in Illinois. So we're trying to get a ramp installed, trying to get him either a wheelchair or a mobility scooter, so that way he will be able to get around and do the things he needs to do. Right now, the VFW is lending him a wheelchair, so we've gotten that far, but we got to take it the extra way. So if you know of anyone who's selling a mobility scooter, or if you have a wheelchair that you can donate or something like that, reach out to me. We'll happily give you a receipt through Veteran Nation Foundation. Like I said, he lives in Illinois, so we do need help because I don't live anywhere near Illinois. We do need someone to be willing to drop it off for him as well if you have something. But please go. And if you can't donate to Tim, just share it. Just share it out. That helps us more than enough because the more people we can get it in front of, the better help we can give him. And looks like we got your Facebook up to $3.99, so we just need one more person to subscribe to your Facebook to get you over 400.
Great, man. And I'm going to tell you, man, the links that I have on 1821 for Spotify, they resonate a lot different when you hear the audios because I add some Easter eggs.
Okay.
You gotta go and click on those, man, because I'm telling you, they're a lot different. They're same stuff that's in the book, and I picked out like the most important ones, especially the resume writing. But if you really want to hear a story, man, I would go to 96 Hours. That's when I was 19 years old in combat, Desert Shield, Desert Storm. So I just came from a toxic home environment, my dad beating me with a railroad belt buckle, getting into the Army and getting a cohort unit. You know, cohort is, right, where we all go to combat together or go to the next duty station together from basic and advanced training. And then I find myself at 19 years old in Desert Shield, Desert Storm. And some people went to Desert Shield, Desert Storm for a month or two, but I went from like December 26, 1990 to 2nd May, 1991. I don't know why they kept us there for provide the comfort, but I will tell you, we ain't really doing anything. We ain't helped them people. I know that. They would say we help people, but we did more burning stuff in the desert. And you think Afghanistan was bad. You should have seen how much equipment we left. They didn't even talk about that. How much, and we left that stuff in the desert to rot away. Boy, I'll tell you, the wildlife out here is pretty good today. Whoever lives in Florida, I guess you know about the lizards, so they're everywhere today, man.
We do a good job embarking, but we don't do a good job debarking, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And I was
I
like,
have a great way to save all that equipment. I have a wonderful, wonderful idea for how we can save all that equipment. Just not send it in the first place. How about we stop sending American boys and now girls off to other countries to die and suffer all sorts of trauma and maladies for the perpetual war machine that has become the United States regime. Like left, right, center doesn't matter. That's all they want to do. They want to take your money, and they want to use your money to send your kids to go fight stupid, worthless wars for them. And now, like I just had a conversation with a young man just a couple of days ago from here in Minnesota. His National Guard unit is deploying. Where is the Minnesota National Guard deploying? Are we putting people on the border to help with border security? I think we should keep the Minnesota National Guard on the border with Canada at all times, personally. We don't need any more Canadians in the United States. But nope, the Minnesota National Guard is sending infantry where to occupy Syria. Why?
You know, I've been hearing that. Syria, I don't know why. And Africa as well. Africa too.
Why are we sending American troops? My veteran friends, my friends who support veterans, all of you, ask yourself, why are we sending not just military in general, but why in the name of God are we sending the National Guard into a war zone that we created? We destabilized Syria. The United States and Israel destabilized Syria intentionally, because we couldn't have Bashar al-Assad there anymore because he wasn't friendly to us. So we destabilized him, and we funded ISIS to go in and overthrow Syria. And now Israel is bombing Syria, occupying Syria, and we're putting American troops in harm's way. For what? And now news just broke, the Houthis are firing on American aircraft. Why? Because we're sticking our nose in, like we have been for decades. For what? What's the benefit to Americans? Wounded people coming home, like William, like Skipper, like AVA, like others, coming home from all of these wars. For what? What benefit has it been to the United States? What benefit has it been to the wage slave taxpayers of the United States to keep doing this? Oh, you know what the benefit is? We deploy our National Guard so they can't be in North Carolina for a hurricane. So they can't be in Tennessee for a hurricane. So they can't be in Louisiana for Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, that's how fucking long this has been going on. And we got guys that have to sit here and write, and I'm glad that you did, William, but now they got to talk about mental health issues, and they got to talk about PTSD, and they got to talk about trauma, and they got to talk about damage being done to people's psyches and being done to people's families, because we keep allowing Republicans and Democrats, I don't care who the president is, we keep allowing them to send our boys and girls off to die. And don't tell me, well, it's not with my permission. No, it is with your permission. Every single one of us is guilty because we haven't said enough. And they promise we're going to end it, but we don't. We don't end it. They never end it.
You know why we send people to war? Because we're broke. And when we send people to war, money. It's all about money. That's what it's about. It's all about money. Yep.
Well, right now,
it brings more money. It brings more money in for the defense. But I will tell you, now that you said the word president, now you got me. Now you got me. So I'm going to just say one thing. That money that got sent to that country, all that taxpayers' money that went to that other country, could have solved all of the homelessness in the United States, as well as all the homeless veterans and all. I think, here's the thing. This money that Doge is funneling right now for all the American people to get $5,000, $8,000, you're eventually going to have to pay it back. You're going to have to pay it back, and then it's going to be taxed because you still have the IRS. It's not gone yet. They're going to collect their taxes on it. And the other thing is, I think that money that's coming from Doge or the president or whatever, for all these people that are greedy Americans that want that money, it should go to homelessness. It should go to curing cancer. It should go to mental health. There are two huge things in this country: mental health and homelessness. And if those two things would be fixed, I think we'd have a better country, man. And then the other thing is, all these schools that have these weird securities and all this, they're paying all this high security and stuff. Man, drag these veterans off the street that are already trained to kill, man. All you got to do is give them a little closet to live in, as a uniform and a handgun or a taser or something, because people are like, I don't want my kid in there with someone with PTSD. Well, I'd rather have my kid in there with someone that PTSD that is going to take the bullet for the team, instead of this person you just hired for $500,000 a year will run away. So, but yeah, don't get me started, man. Don't get me started.
AVA just threw out.
That's why I'm the voice of the voiceless, man. Right there.
AVA just threw out my favorite proposal. Yeah, I say you turn the Department of Veterans Affairs into an office of about 5 people who oversee a monthly check going out to every single veteran that they get to spend however they want to spend.
And
Well,
get all the help from the outside. Get all the help from the outside contracting agencies like the hospitals.
But just imagine all the money that's spent on administrative costs. You know, Skipper and I've talked about this before. Skipper, what did we say that the current budget is annually now for the VA? How many billion?
Oh, I believe it's like 18 billion.
There's just $18 billion a year. Let's say they don't increase it at all now. 18. Let's see, how many living veterans are there? How many dollars a month would that be if you spread that out? 18 billion. You just, instead of giving it to the department to piss all over veterans, how about you just send the veterans a check every month? You can prorate it however you want, based on the number of years you were in service, based on, whatever. I mean, like give officers less money than you give the enlisted, because we all know, the officers got paid more anyway. But pay it to the Marines in like crayons, whatever. Give it to the air.
The crayon joke.
Come on, you didn't know any Marines at all while you were in?
Yeah, but I didn't understand the crayon thing. I don't want to cut you off, but continue what you're saying about the VA is more important than crayons.
I do have some good news I'd like to interrupt with. We got 1821 productions up to 400 followers.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But you just spread that $18 billion out over the course of a year. Just evenly divide it, and you could call it what you want. It's like, I'm not a communist, or a Marxist or whatever. But I mean, if you're going to tax us to death anyway to fund a program, can we at least just give it to the people it was meant for? I mean, that would be great. Nope. No, we can't do that. We can't do that because, we got to have somebody sitting in an office somewhere making decisions about, whether or not you can go get your glasses on this day or not get your glasses on this day, or whether or not you can, be like blind justice, and be a special operations operator and lose your eyesight in line of duty, and have you, order you be assaulted and damn near beat to death by VA police because, you happen to show up and use your phone when they ordered you not to. Or you could be the Vietnam vet who shows up and going through the metal screening, goes through the screening, and the VA police, throw him on his head. We got to keep paying those people. We got to keep paying them.
TC.
I'm sorry. Yeah. You got me fired up.
Have you seen like what Doge is finding, like some of this money? Did you see the thing where they spent $50 million on condoms? Did you see that? Where they spent $50 million on condoms and sent it over, I think, to Gaza? Was it to Gaza?
They said Gaza, and then they said no, it's actually Africa.
And they're using it for bombs. They're making bombs out of condoms. And then don't even get me started on the Pentagon, because they said they went into the Pentagon and found out, like, I want to say cosmetic, like they said there's like millions of dollars on freaking coffee cups and like aesthetics and stuff, like plates and stuff for dignitaries. Absolutely garbage, man. That's American tax dollars for coffee cups. Like, you're going to drink out of a golden coffee cup in a meeting, Don't get me started.
I think we already did get you started, but
all right.
No, I once again, Skipper's normally my numbers guy, but he hasn't run him yet. He hasn't given me an estimate for the number of living veterans. It's got to be less than 18 billion.
Oh, I think we're at 4 million living veterans.
How many Vietnam veterans are left? I met the other day when I was out on the road. I met a I met a 100-year-old Vietnam veteran, 100 years old, living in an RV with his grandson and granddaughter. Not getting no VA care at all. Refused to.
Well, the way the VA is even worse. It has gotten a little bit better, but we still have so far to go.
I know certain veterans in certain states who have applied and can't get VA care because they're in a certain state. And I don't understand that for a minute. I really don't.
I'm trying to get you something sent here. But I think I might be... Facebook gets so frustrating. I'm trying to get you into our Veteran Nation group so you can share all your stuff there as well.
That's cool. I'm gonna have to put on my glasses because it's just bright. So, not trying to be cool or anything, but my eyes are very sensitive. So, usually I wear the red lens glasses because it helps you sleep better at night, like a red lens therapy glasses. But I'm not gonna put those on and look like Power Ranger or freaking Avenger here while we're talking.
No, you're good. We normally go a little bit over an hour. We've actually already hit an hour. So I do want to get in all your plugs and everything before we end. Here I'm going to show up. So the books are, this is one, The Broken Mirror.
Is that live on Amazon?
Yes. Yeah, this is Amazon.
Okay. Cool. So then, so just so you know, when you're going to look up the other one, the Mirror Second Edition, you go down to the author profile, click the author profile, where you'll see my picture.
Okay.
Right there. Now that book right there with the 2 awards on it, don't buy that one because it's the softback from an old publisher, and they're getting the royals to it because I got scammed on it and I'm working a legal case. So I had to go on KDP, and you'll see if you click on the author profile, the Kindle version and the hardback will pop up. Because right now they're not going to let me publish on KDP that cover because it's already on Amazon. So I've already authorized the new ISBN. Like there's so much stuff people don't know on being authors, but I will tell you, I've done a couple videos. So yeah, so you'll be able to click on the author page and you'll be able to see that, like that book right there that you're seeing, The Mirror, that has 6 reviews. So that just renewed, I think in 2024, April or something. So there's not a lot of people looking at that because like I've already legally went after United Writers. I'm going to call them out so authors don't go and join them. They scammed me. The guy that scammed me was scamming a bunch of authors and got fired. So now I'm working a legal case with them. They have to retire the ISBN so that it can be taken off. So I have the hardback and the Kindle. So if anyone's interested in the Kindle versions, you can go and sample them. And if you don't like them, have a nice day. But I'll tell you, if you look at the reviews, some people couldn't even put it down. Couldn't even put it down, especially the new one.
Well, I'll definitely check them out, and I want everybody, definitely follow you on Spotify, on 1821 Productions on Facebook, as well as I see we've gotten you some more subscribers on YouTube during today's show. So
I do a morning message on YouTube. Sometimes I pop on at night. Like I said, if like something comes up and I want to talk about it, I vent. So I make, I'm starting to make shorts. Usually I talk for like 12 or 15 minutes. And people are like, you lose people after 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do shorts. So.
People can get bent. If you can watch a football game for 4.5 hours with a bunch of high-priced, overpaid prima donnas who never never give a damn about the rest of the country other than, you know, their endorsements coming in. You can do that. You can watch that. You could spend $50 for a date to go to a stupid movie for 3.5 hours. You can't watch somebody talk about what matters for 20 minutes. Get bent.
So
TC,
I was told. So I'm an Eagles fan, but something I think that
sorry.
you were talking about overpaid and all that. But I'm from Pennsylvania, so like I was never taught how to play football when I was a kid or any sport. But I do like the Eagles. They said that Hurst went to Disney, right? He said, "Oh, I want to go to Disney World." They said that no one could even get near him. Like he's not interacting with nobody.
I don't know.
Talk
who
to
hurt
nobody. He's the Eagles
Oh.
quarterback. MVP. So he went to Disney here in Orlando. They shut part of the park down so that him and his family could just go around. Like, how you gonna do that, man? I mean, like, he's an everyday everybody like me, man. You know, like, why can't I walk up and say, "Hey, Mr. Hurt, can I have your autograph?" Or, "Hey, man, high five." You know, this dude had like security around him. Like,
lots of ego.
I
let
tell
me
you
go to
why.
Disney. Let me go to Disney.
Bread and circuses.
let me
That's
go to-
why.
What?
It's bread and circuses. I just
TC, are
wanted to-
you plugging
I
anything before we get out of here?
I crunched some numbers.
Okay.
$369.3 billion a year, fiscal year 2025, is what the VA gets. $369.3 billion. Let's say roughly 19 million veterans alive today. That breaks down to, if everybody got the exact same amount, that breaks down to $1,619 a month for every veteran alive. A month. Now, that's not, rolling in the dough, but I don't know how many veterans that I know personally couldn't benefit. You know how much of a benefit $1,619 a month would be if they just cut me that check every month instead of sending that off to the VA? That'd pay for a lot of health care.
Mhm.
That would pay for a lot
If
of health care.
they just said, "Hey, we'll pay your premiums to a private plan," you pick it. That would be great. All right, folks. So go make sure you check out 1821 Productions. William, we'd love to have you back on the show again. Love talking with you. And if you're plugging anything new, feel free to reach out to us and come on back.
Thank you, everyone following me, and I will definitely reach out to the individuals who are following me. Got to go take my dog for the WALK for a little bit. Got to get out and stretch, but once I get back, I'll be on my tablet in my RV. This is my RV. I live in that thing back there behind me, everyone.
Nice.
That's home.
Well, everyone, that's our show for this week. Make sure you go to Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, subscribe to TC, watch the Freedom Flock. We also have our Facebook Veteran Nation group, so you can go there. We will be back live again today. We have an all veterans anything goes that we're going to be doing later, so it'll be complete and total chaos, no structure at all. So I'm sure it's going to be completely and totally fine and without any type of problems.
Well, you can't leave Marine officers in charge. That's
All right, TC, any last comments?
um,
The VA sucks.
well, I don't know. I haven't had any experience with them because everybody keeps telling me horror stories about the VA, so I refuse to. And now
You're getting a crap load of comments of a great show.
well, these people all are on some sort of medication, so I
Our medicated commenters. I love
Hey.
them.
Can I do a little plug real quick?
Sure.
So it's not all about the medicine, people. I've learned to decompress on some of the medicine. When I got out of Walter Reed, I was on 5 different mood type medicines. and now I'm only on fluoxetine. So I use like weighted blankets that are super light. I have a weighted blanket. I have a migraine beanie. So instead of taking like over-the-counter medicine for migraines, you can go online on Amazon and get ice beanie, put it in your refrigerator or your freezer, put it on your head and pull it over your eyes. Instantly, you can go to sleep or the migraine will go away. I'm now doing essential oils. Some people are trying to get me into cannabis. I'm not into that one yet, but
Oh, you will be.
I've been doing, people give up their 100% disability. I mean, their benefits to do cannabis because the VA is not pushed. I think in 5 years, medical marijuana will be pushed in the VA system within 5 years. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. But there are other things that I do.
Got to get the feds out of the business of keeping it illegal, and then they will. But that's why they can't right now. The VA can't because it's.
All I'm going to say is Cash. Kash. He's definitely going to weed them out. But yeah, I do essential oils. I do turmeric, shilajit, elderberries, and then I listen to like music, or I write on my phone. Like I talk. There's people out there that are so stressed out. They're like, I don't know what to do. Well, talk to your phone and watch the words come out. And that's how I developed my book. I did entries. I would listen to some demonic Nine Inch Nails or some Sisters of Mercy or The Cure, and eventually my mind would
I would
be
have
like
never.
focused.
I would have never pegged you for a Nine Inch Nails, Sisters of Mercy, or who was the other one?
The Cure.
The Cure. I would have never pegged you for that. I would have never pegged you for that.
Would you peg me as like a country guy?
No, I just I'm more of a southern rock kind of guy. I would have imagined.
Do you like?
Even being
Have you
from
ever heard of?
Pennsylvania.
Have you ever heard of Dark Country?
I live in dark country, sir. What do you?
No, I'm serious. There's a genre of music called Dark Country. It's like demonic Johnny Cash. You got to go listen to it, man. It's pretty good. When I was getting a tattoo, the tattoo artist was like, "Man, I play no 80s music. We'll listen to Dark Country." And I'm like,
Goth country girl could be a new fetish for me.
not goth country, dark, but like March 20th, I'm going to see the Deftones, man.
Oh man, you and I are gonna get along really well because.
Hey, do you know that symbol right there?
Well, what do you know? Where in the world did you find somebody to put that together?
Do you know what that is, right? Who is that? What band is that?
That looks like one of the Tool covers, but
Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah, but Tool
that's the Breaking Benjamin logo, man. Yeah,
Tool
that's
has
the Breaking
that on
Benjamin logo.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was Breaking Benjamin or if one of the because Tool has that something really similar to that for the. What do you know, Skipper? You brought in the surprise at the end, and you didn't even know he was going to do it. So, did you like the new Cure album?
Do you like 10 years?
10 years. I don't know
like
that one.
Seven Dust.
Seven Dust is okay. I think they're a little too derivative, but we Skipper, what we just lost. We've turned into a. I don't know what we've turned into. Did you hear the new Cure album? Just came out.
Oh yeah, the World's End or something. It's a double platinum album right now. Yeah. And the other thing is, do you know who Butcher Babies are?
That one I don't know.
They're actually getting ready to go on tour with a band that hasn't done anything for 25 years. Have you ever heard of the Lords of Acid?
Yep. Ministry's going on tour now too.
Who?
Ministry.
Oh yeah, Ministry is. They announced that they're going on tour with Nitzareb.
Yep.
They're going on tour with Nitzareb. When I left Pennsylvania, the last show I saw was Front 242. You know about Front 242?
Oh yeah, I know Front 242. I'm trying to imagine how long ago that had to have been then when you left Pennsylvania.
October.
So Front 242 was doing.
They're still doing shows, man.
I didn't know they were still doing
getting ready
shows.
to do their final show. They're getting ready to do their final show.
Tim Walters wanted me to
we'll We'll talk more about music, man. I like Killing Joke, New Order, Skinny Puppy. Yeah, man. If you read my new book, you'll see I wrote something in there called My Genre. It talks about all the different music. So, yeah. And I like old school punk. I like Black Flag and JFA. I used to be a hardcore skater, man. So.
What were you going to say, Skipper? Since we completely derailed this.
Timothy Walters, he saw everyone's donations after I plugged his Give, Send, Go, and he wanted me to tell everyone, or his GoFundMe, and he wanted me to tell everyone thank you.
Did we upset She Nemesis?
I don't know. I just Georgie hit it up. We're not
I'm
an airport. You
insulted
don't
with
have to announce
the
your
nasty
departure.
talk.
I
Nasty
did.
talk? What is nasty talk? It's the music. Music
No,
helps
it was
people with
before the
PTSD.
music. It was before the.
Oh.
It was before the music. I
was going to say,
just saw it.
music is a part of coping.
I try
coping
to
mechanism.
interact with the chat, and then sometimes I miss things because I want the chat to feel like they matter even though they don't. And the reason I
stand in their vajayjay.
The reason I say that is because 98% of the time you're doing a show, the chat is off in its own world talking about something completely unrelated to what to what the show's about. You know, it's like I used to do so many live shows, and then my chat would just be exploding with things like, "Wow, my chat's really on fire," and then they'd be talking about something completely unrelated. So I can't do this anymore. But so
TC, I could have you on my podcast, man, and we could talk about music.
Yeah, I use music a lot for personal, like for therapy. I have a very good friend of mine who's
it's off his neighbors.
I have a very good friend of mine who's actually he hosts several. He owns a clinic. I shouldn't say owns.
We don't believe you have friends.
Well, that's true. He has a counseling business. He has a doctorate in psychology, and he has a business, Zephyr Wellness in Nevada, and he also used to DJ in college and high school, and we talk about music a lot, and he gives me a hard time all the time. He says, because the music I listen to says a lot about how my mind works. And I said, you're right. That's why I listen to the music I listen to. So I write essays. I put out essays pretty much every week on my Substack. And I always put my mood music on while I'm writing. And my writing goes so much better than it does when I'm trying to write in silence. Because normally the silence is in my head is far more deafening than the music is. And so I write every.
What Toriyama song do you think he listens to when he does this? Please write it in the comments.
Oh, I could give you like 4 Toriyama songs that are in the rotation for the music. So
what is this? OF OnlyFans. American veterans have OnlyFans to do. What is OF?
Zero F's to give.
0 F's to give. Yeah.
Oh, 0 F's to give. Okay, I was going to say what?
Yeah, we don't.
But yeah, TC, I saw the 40th anniversary of CAM-FDM.
Wow. You know, you're not allowed to talk about this anymore because every time you mention one of these bands and the anniversary, it just reminds me of how fucking old I'm getting. That's what this like.
I'm 55, man.
Yeah, I'm about to be 55. Every single time I see Robert Smith, you know, somebody will be like, wow, he looks the same. I'm like, well, at this point, with the Alzheimer's and the dementia setting in, his hair is going to look like it did in the 80s for the rest of his life. So, I mean,
yeah.
But I cranked up some Morrissey and the Smiths the other day, and I was writing.
God.
I was writing. I had a friend last Sunday. I got word from my friend Lisa Hansen. Skipper knows this. Lisa and I went to war with the state of Minnesota over COVID, and she ended up getting thrown in prison for keeping her business open during COVID, against our governor's wishes.
Lawbreaker.
And I've developed a very good friendship with her and her husband Vern, and her husband Vern died last Sunday from a massive heart attack early in the morning. And
I didn't know about that. I'm sorry.
so she called me when I was writing last week, and boy, you get a call like that, and it kind of it steals the creative juices. It kind of shuts them down. And but I got up on Monday, and I ended up saying, you know what, there's something percolating in here. And so yes, it's you shut up, AVA, or you're not going to live to be an old man. But I got up on Monday and I wrote a poem for her and Vern about what she was going through. And I went to the funeral yesterday, and I'm going to be writing an essay today about my experience with Vern, because everybody knows Lisa. You know, she made all the rounds. She went to she was on Fox News. She was on a lot of networks when they were interviewing her about what happened to her and was happening to her. And then, of course, when the Democrats picked Tim Walz, our governor, to be the running mate of Kamala Harris, they kind of brought her back. They kind of brought her back into the limelight, and we're talking about her again. So everybody knows Lisa, but Lisa would always, Lisa would want people to know that she was able to stand and fight the way she did because she had her husband, behind her the whole time. And so that was a blow to us. And so I'm going to be writing about that and listening to our music, listening to our music. Wow.
I love the Smiths, man. I love Morrissey. I used to have the Morrissey hair, bro.
I'm just trying to. It's not very often that a guest on Veteran Nation shocks the shit out of me, but it just was not what I was not. I was picturing you sipping on. I was picturing you sipping on Southern Comfort, listening to Leonard Skinner. That's what.
Hey, so are you allowed to give me presentation rights? Can I get presentation rights to show him something?
I think you have them. You should be able to. Yeah, there's a little thing to share your screen.
Upload. I'm going to show you something before we go, man, if I can find it. No, that ain't going to let me do it. Can I upload? Is it going to let me upload my photos? Can I do that?
I think it does, yeah. If you're on, it's harder if you're on a phone.
Yeah, it keeps going to my drive. But hey, man, I'll hit you up on the side to show you like what I used to look like when I was. They used to tell me I look like Morrissey, man. I used to have like the Morrissey hair.
I could see
when he was in the Smiths.
You might look like you might be a chunkier. I could see the chunkier version of Morrissey in you now. Is what I probably shouldn't say a chunkier version of Morrissey in you, considering the way Morrissey swings. But that's a. But no, it's Skipper knows how to get a hold of me outside of here. So yeah, man. I'm going to be writing.
I'll start a matches with all of us, so then you guys can.
I really appreciate you coming on with us, and I want to let everybody know that I haven't forgotten that I do actually have other content on my channel besides my occasional Drive Time Dialectic. For those of you who don't know, I have arrived now. I do seasons, and so I do take a little bit of a break at the beginning of the year, because I put out so much content. Skipper knows this. I put out so much content throughout the course of a year that sometimes I just need some downtime, and I'm getting ready to come back on. I'm going to be sitting down with the constitutional lawyer for an hour or two today, and recording that and putting that out tomorrow for what's ultimately the season premiere of TC and Friends Monday Night Musings. We're going to be talking about the Minnesota Supreme Court's new ruling that as long as you are driving a car that is registered to be on public roadways in Minnesota, your car is effectively public property and can be searched by law enforcement at any time. without a warrant. So, and that's the most action Skipper's seen in months. So,
TMI, too much information.
but yeah, so I'm going to be sitting down with my friend Tom Gallagher, who's been on a few times, and we're going to be talking about that Minnesota Supreme Court ruling and what it actually means, and how we should not be overreacting to it, and how we should be responding appropriately to that issue. And I am also going to be firing Skipper. Skipper is now fired. I'm going to have him audited by Doge if he keeps it up. And we welcome that transparency. But
Hey, I know how a lot of people say do a buddy check. One of my friends who witnessed her daughter unalive herself reached out to me the other day and said, do you have 8 seconds? So if you have somebody that's in a meeting or something and you come up with a code word and you really need to talk to somebody, text them. Do you have 8 seconds? Get their ass out of a meeting or get them out of something they're doing. Do you have 8 seconds to talk? It only takes 8 seconds to save somebody's life, just so you know.
absolutely. And I will also be doing more on the story of Pam, who, of course, many of you have seen the video breakdowns that I've done of how the Department of Human, the social services and Department of Welfare here in the state of Minnesota ran who's here the ringer. And yeah, I'm going to go before I'm replaced by a blow up doll and a Ken doll. That's, so, but let's,
Well, I don't fish. I saw somebody says if I live in Florida, I would help with the fishing, with kids fishing.
oh, we've
Yeah.
got Uncle Frank's kids. Yeah.
It's a
Uncle
nonprofit
Frank was a
starting up
tunnel
in-
rat in Vietnam, and he recently passed away. And his family has started up a nonprofit called Uncle Frank's Kids, where they're taking their donations to take underprivileged children who maybe wouldn't necessarily get the opportunity to go out and learn how to fish. And they're taking kids out and teaching them how to fish and enjoy nature instead of Animal Crossing.
Does somebody in the chat don't know what TMI is?
No,
You
they
know
all
what
know.
TMI is? Do you know what TMI is?
Yeah, they all know because
Not 3 Mile Island from where I'm from.
no, they know it's too much information. That's
Yeah. Okay.
because they get way too much of that here anyways. Too much information. So.
Oh, it's been a privilege, man.
Skipper, you've got another show starting in an hour and a half. So
Wow.
Yep. So we'll go ahead and end this, and then I'll be back on with that, and yeah, we'll see how crazy we can get today.
yeah, I don't know that I'm
20
going to be able to make it for that because I'm sane. So
It's an anything goes, so I'm sure we'll definitely be off the rails.
okay, so it's a
22 a day,
normal
man.
show. Yeah,
22
Alright.
a day, man.
Thank you for your
gentlemen.
time, William.
Yeah, William Stevens, thank you for joining us. Everyone check him out, 1821 Productions on Facebook, on YouTube, Spotify, and we'll have him back, and I'm sure he'll be doing something new and exciting that he'll want to plug. Go to Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, subscribe to TC, all the good stuff he does there, subscribe to his Substack, and for us, we'll be back here in just a little bit with an Anything Goes. And as always, thank you for being worth serving.